Hi, my name is Mark Gutman, and I am a special education attorney.
And my name is Anthula Vasiliou, and I'm also a special education attorney.
So, you may have seen our video last week where I spoke about the process on how to get independent educational evaluations, otherwise known as an IEE. So, we got a bunch of questions over at our Instagram and to our email with some specific scenarios, and we picked a few of them that we thought might be especially important to address, and we figured we'll address them today.
Yeah, so what we're going to try to do is some Q&A videos like this where we take some of the questions and provide a little bit more of a detailed answer to give you some more information about the process.
Reminder, and I can't say this enough, we are speaking generally and only in New York. And even in New York, every case is going to be different. So what might happen in one case may not always be what happens in every other case.
All right, so you want to go into the first question, Mark?
Sure. So the first question that we have here is, what is the difference between an evaluation and an assessment? So that's a great question. So we use a lot of these terms interchangeably, right? We'll say something is an evaluation, and then we can also refer to it as an assessment. But under the law, under the IDEA, an evaluation is one that tests a student in all areas of need. So while we might refer to a speech language therapy evaluation as an evaluation because it is clinically a speech language therapy evaluation, under the IDEA, if a student has multiple deficits, right, maybe they also have physical therapy needs, a speech language therapy evaluation alone would not be considered a complete evaluation. But that actually gives more power to parents because what that means is you can request an independent evaluation that consists of various evaluations, right? So when we ask for an independent evaluation, we're asking for one that is made up of a neuropsychological evaluation, a speech language therapy evaluation, a functional behavior assessment, right? Any number of things. And that together makes up an evaluation under the IDEA. So when the DOE conducts an evaluation, right, they have to do it in multiple areas. They can't just say, hey, we did speech language therapy, we're done. We don't have to do another one for 3 years. They have to do it in all areas.
Yeah, so I think the moral of the story there is whenever it's time for a kid to get reevaluated, that evaluation as a whole should hit all the different areas and all the different kinds of therapies and needs that the student has.
Right, exactly. And then your IEE can do the same thing.
Yep.
All right. So now the next question, do you have that pulled up?
Yeah, I have it here. The question is, I think my daughter needs a physical therapy evaluation, but the school district never did one. Can I still ask for my daughter to be evaluated independently? All right. So, like Mark just said, an appropriate evaluation needs to evaluate in all areas of need. So, if you really think that there's a reason why your kid needs a physical therapy evaluation, and for some reason the school district missed the mark on that, they didn't identify that, they didn't conduct that evaluation, that doesn't mean that your kid has to go forward without any physical therapy or without even an evaluation to see legitimately and actually does the kid need this therapy. So just because the school district doesn't conduct that assessment themselves doesn't mean that you can't get it independently. And I think this is also related to another question that we had, which is what happens if a district wants to do an evaluation themselves after you ask for it independently? So let's say, taking that same scenario, that you think your kid needs a physical therapy evaluation, and you go to the district and you say, all right, you guys didn't do a physical therapy evaluation, but I think my kid needs one. Can I get one independently? And their response is, sure, but we don't want it to be independent. We'll do it ourselves. Um, it really depends on the timing here. And I think you need to keep in mind that a student needs to be reevaluated by the school district every 3 years. So if you're coming up on that 3 year mark from the last time the school district evaluated, it might be a better idea to just let the school district go ahead with their reevaluation. And then once you get all those reports, you can look at them. And if there's still something missing, some crucial information that the school district didn't assess, then you can ask for an independent evaluation at that point. But if the school district had just evaluated and you get the reports and you see, physical therapy isn't in there, but I think my kid really needs that, you can go ahead and disagree with that evaluation and ask for the physical therapy evaluation to be done independently, and you don't need to give the district at that point the opportunity to do it themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think so. And I think just what you have to keep in mind is that every case is going to be different, right? So again, while yeah, theoretically, if they haven't done a physical therapy evaluation, we can still get a physical therapy evaluation. Like Anthula said, if there comes a time when maybe they're just about to do their new ones, we might want to sit back and say, okay, give them an opportunity to do that so that it doesn't complicate things. So as long as you're aware of that yeah, that technically that's the answer, but things can change all the time. Um, that might drive how you move forward in trying to get your independent evaluations. And then the next question is, how do I know if I need an independent evaluation? So I think if you're asking this question, then that probably means you do want to, look into getting an independent evaluation. Personally, it's very rare that I see a DOE evaluation that I think is comprehensive and complete. And when you get your independent evaluations, it can really, it's an unbiased look at what a student needs. So it'll tell you what kind of school placement might be appropriate, right? What kind of services they might need. Also, it can tell you evaluations to look at that you might not have considered, right? So you might not think of something like an audiological evaluation, right? But maybe a neuropsychologist sees that a student might benefit from that. Also, if you are already in the process of thinking you're probably going to file a due process complaint, independent evaluations can also be very helpful in telling you what it is that you want the judge to order, right? Whether it's compensatory services, additional services on the IEP, or like I said, a new school placement.
All right, so the next question is, once I get the independent evaluation and I give it to the district, do they have to follow what the evaluation recommends? So this is a great question. And really, the first important thing here is once you get independent evaluation reports, you definitely want to turn them over to the school district as soon as possible. And what they should do with that information is schedule an IEP meeting to review it with you. So the answer here is that they have to consider that information, but they don't necessarily have to follow it word for word. So, as long as the school district is having a meaningful conversation with you about what did this evaluation tell us about this student? What results do we have? What are the recommendations of this evaluator? Um, and they discuss that with you and have a back and forth about how that should impact the student's program going forward. That's really the responsibility of the school district. There's no requirement that they have to follow exactly what an independent evaluator recommended, because ultimately the question at the end of the day at the IEP meeting is, how do we take all these different pieces of information, the parent concerns, the teacher reports, school report cards, and independent evaluations, and put that all together to come up with the specific plan for the student going forward?
All right. So that's all the questions we're going to answer today. We'll have another informative video coming out in the next couple of weeks, and then, like Angela said, we'll try and do these Q&A sessions. Whenever we publish one of those. So keep an eye on this page for more information about the special education process.
Yep, and feel free to shoot us questions anywhere on Instagram, email, anywhere, comments in this video, and we'll try to address them next time.